Come on then, come on then, come on then, man. I'm about to get ready for some sessions in a few. But I want to talk about, guys, something on today. I want to talk about something that's been a topic of discussion that I've been trying to deal with for a while, or more or less bring to greater attention. And it resonated even more clearer on yesterday when I was in session and when I had the opportunity to speak with a client. The topic on today, guys, is who created man-man. The topic on today is who created man-man. When you hear the word man-man, man-man is, in my opinion, consistent with self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's consistent with self-fulfilling prophecy for a myriad of reasons. Man-man is consistent with self-fulfilling prophecy because of this. Man-man never had the tutelage of his father. Man-man was made to be a man before he was ready to be a man through a concept in the clinical world that we call it, guys, adultification. Adultification means he was asked, or more or less pressed or pushed to be a man before he was ready to be a man. And because of that, sometimes it creates a condition called over-identification. But if it doesn't create over-identification, what it does, it creates arrested development. And you know, we got a lot of man-mans, sadly, in the black community. We got a lot of man-mans, sadly, in the black community for a myriad of reasons. And man-man exists because there's a lack of structure and order in the what once was a strong black community. Now it's a very defunct or a very broken community. Listen, guys, in the past, boys were given rites of passage through their fathers, and they were given rites of passage through the elders in the community. But sadly, boys don't have rites of passage anymore. Boys don't have community anymore. And men and boys don't have the proper avenues to help them become the better versions of themselves. So the question is, who created man-man? Is man-man a deviant based on biological predisposition? Or was man-man created due to life circumstances, conditions, but also some genetic predispositions, to say the least? And I will argue that man-man is a byproduct of both. Some of it is genetic predisposition, but some of it, guys, sadly, is environment. And you know, and I know the environment plays or is everything to the function of a child. When a child's in a good environment, it's everything in order for that child to thrive, in order for that child to develop, in order for that child to grow. But when a child is placed in a predicament where he doesn't have the proper recourse, doesn't have the proper resources, there are some kids that supersede or excel their current situation or circumstances, but there are many kids that don't. In the clinical world, we call that resiliency. Some kids are resilient, but other kids are not resilient. And that's the greater conversation, guys, that I'm going to talk about on today. Who created man-man? Because once again, environment is everything. I had the opportunity, guys, to talk with somebody on yesterday. I had the opportunity to talk with a young man on yesterday, and I'm going to break it down. But I had the opportunity to speak with a young man on yesterday, and you will be surprised the level of dysfunction that's in the so-called black community. There's a lot of dysfunction, not only in America, but there's a lot of dysfunction, sadly, in the black community. And the dysfunction, guys, continues because we haven't addressed the core of the issue. I chose the term man because everybody talk about Pookie and Ray Ray, and it becomes very cliche after a while. But man, in my opinion, is a personification of what's wrong today. Man is the reason why you have so many simps, because man over identifies with his mother. Man also has a hatred for his mother, because man remember when his mother had a bunch of men coming in and out of the house and using her body for pleasure, or using her body because his father wasn't around. And many times, guys, the decent black men that have made good choices are more or less placed in the same negative predicament as the worthless black men that more or less created the chaos. And so, once again, who created man? Man's story many times doesn't start in environments like this. This is a decent neighborhood that I'm in right now. It's a decent environment. As you guys can see, it's a decent neighborhood, and it's a decent environment. But many times, man wasn't raised in a decent neighborhood or environment. Man was raised in the inner city. Man was raised in chaos. Man was raised where there was a lack of food, there was a lack of shelter, there was a lack of proper clothing, and man was raised in lack. And because of that, guys, people don't understand how the mind works. Children that are put in good environments tend to thrive. And we understand that there are some people that supersede the odds, because your contrarian would say, well, I grew up in the hood and I turned out fine. Well, you're just the exception to the rule, sir or ma'am, but you're not the rule. You're just the exception to the rule, but you are not the rule. You are not the rule because you grew up in a decent environment. You grew up in a decent neighborhood. But man didn't grow up in a decent environment, or neither did man grow up in a decent neighborhood. And there's a lot of mental illness in the black community that's gone undiagnosed. And the biggest issue with children that are born in environments where they don't have healthy fathers, healthy communities, healthy mothers, they are more at risk of developing high recidivism. What is recidivism? Meaning they get caught up in the criminal system. Let me tell you guys something. When I worked in law enforcement back in the day, I used to work in law enforcement. I was a CO for 2 years, mental health CO. I worked in segregation lockup. I did 7 years with the Department of Juvenile Justice. From juvenile justice, I taught school for 5 years. I got my bachelor's, and then I taught school for 5 years. And then I got my master's. And what I've seen, guys, over and over and over and over and over again is a cycle of dysfunction, a cycle of man-mans. Because man is the spawn of irresponsible fathers, but man also is the spawn of baby mama culture. I'm from Gen X. I grew up in the 90s. I graduated back in 1990. And being a baby mama was a stigma back then. It was a stigma, and it's still a stigma many times in other communities. But now the moral compass has been depleted, guys, to say the least. The moral compass has been depleted, and what we extolled as being great in the past is no longer great. We got a generation of people, men and women, having a bunch of children out of wedlock, a bunch of baby mamas, a bunch of trauma and dysfunction, and a bunch of disintegration. And the greatest indicator of a child's success is having an intact family with a mother and a father. But I need you to listen. Just because you got a mother and a father, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be successful. It don't mean that you're going to be successful by default. But here's the difference. If you got a father in your home, but he's not a masculine father, then that doesn't add to the greater conversation. If you got a father in your home that he doesn't know how to properly lead and guide his family, but he's just there, that child got a better chance of being more successful in that environment. But that child doesn't have a better chance of being successful overall. A child gets the best benefits when they're in a home where they have a masculine mother and a masculine father and a masculine mother, and where there's structure, where there's order, and where there's balance. Then it's devoid of chaos. Now, kids that grow up in intact families and intact homes where they have mothers and fathers, but there's not boundaries or structures in those homes, those children are more at risk for chaos, and those children are more at risk for disintegration. So the question on today is, once again, who created man-man? And I will argue that many conditions created man-man. Genetic predisposition partially created man-man. Environment partially created man-man. Trauma partially created man-man. Life partially created man-man. The system partially created man-man. And the last part is this: man-man played a role in creating himself. Man-man played a role in creating man-man. He played a role. It's not all his fault, but man-man did play a role. Because even though man-man was raised in a chaotic situation, and even though man-man was a victim of life circumstances, man-man still plays a role in his own pathology. Because man-man understands basic right and wrong. And while man-man understands basic right and wrong, as I said earlier, it doesn't minimize the fact that man-man went through some level of trauma, some level of acute trauma, or some level of trauma or chronic trauma. And, you know, when I worked in school, guys, when I worked in the school system and when I worked in prison, many of the kids and many of the men that I worked with came from single mother homes. They came from baby mamas. And they came from reckless baby daddies. They came from baby mamas, and they came from reckless baby daddies. And many times the value system was not a value system in discipline, but it was a value system in victimhood. And while some of them are victims, they lack the proper coping skills to overcome their victimhood. And because of that, you have a generation of man-mans that run rampant. A lot of these man-mans get caught up in the penal system because man-man is more or less could have undiagnosed personality disorders. And many times these kids, and I've seen them, guys, because remember, I worked with the juveniles for 7 years, and many of them had antisocial personality disorder once they turned 21. But while they were in training school, they had opposition defiant disorder, and they had conduct disorder. And many times they were the spawns of single mother homes, or single-led homes, or broken communities, or lack of identity. And so when you're dealing with man-man, man-man is like wildfire. Man-man have seen nothing but dysfunction, and man-man has seen nothing but trauma. And I'm gonna share something with you guys in a minute on what happened on yesterday. Many of these women that continue to have or perpetuate the dysfunction that they complain about, they're dealing with unresolved issues. They're dealing with unresolved traumas. They're dealing with unresolved mental illness. And they have not gotten the proper help that can help them break through the malaise and or break through the cycle of what they are dealing with. Broken people create other broken people. Hurt people hurt other hurt people. I like what Edward Anderson said one time. He called it mentally transmitted disease. The word disease means dis-ease. And Edward Anderson is correct. He called it mentally transmitted disease. I call it transgenerational traumas. And while everything is not always trauma, let me say it again, while everything is not always trauma, and while some people can overcome their traumas, some people, even though they think they have overcome their traumas, they still have the residual effects of traumas or trauma that needs to be dealt with, because even though they appear to be functional, Some people that appear to be functional, just like functional alcoholics, they appear to be functional, they appear to be okay, and they appear to be fine, but they still have some high level of acuity that they're not aware of. And so shame, as I said, guys, about a week ago, at one point was good. That, like I told you guys, there's a such thing as good shame, and there's a such thing as bad shame. Shame was good years ago when we had intact homes and when we had intact communities. Good shame made you a better person. But bad shame didn't make you a better person. Bad shame made you a victim of somebody else's own pathology. And so, as I said before, when I worked in law enforcement in the past, when I used to work with some of the worst kids in the state, they all had similar stories. Abject poverty, the absence of fathers in the home, broken communities, mothers that had multiple kids by multiple men, baby mamas, and some of these reckless women are perpetuating the trauma and the drama that these boys are dealing with. But not only are some of these reckless women perpetuating the trauma and the struggles that these boys are dealing with, some of these men are doing the same thing. Because man is the type of person or the type of kid that thinks that being trauma-filled or dysfunctional is normal. And so because man never saw true masculinity, then man tend to over-identify with his mother, which in essence, if he's not careful, it can arrest his development as a man, because man doesn't see the things through the lens of logic, reason, and also masculinity, but man see things through the lens of the pain and the struggles of his mother. Now listen, there were some women of the past that were noble women, and they were nowhere like the kind of women that you see today. They were good women, but they were dealing with broken men. And hurt people hurt other people. Hurt people, hold tight. Hold on, guys. Hurt people, turn this thing off. Hurt people hurt other people. And so it becomes a cycle of dysfunction and becomes a cycle of trauma. James Turner says, salute kosher. Are you talking about Day and Raekwon little brother? Yeah. Shout out to James Turner for that for that $10 super chat. Raekwon and Day little brother, right? And so it becomes a cycle of dysfunction. And see, nobody want to talk about it. Most don't understand it. And we normalize dysfunction, guys, in the African American community. And sadly, here lately, dysfunctional Negroes have become the verdict of the day. Dysfunction has become the verdict of the day. Thanks, James, once again for that $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. But the pathology of man, guys, runs deep. The pathology of man runs very deep. And it runs deep for a myriad of reasons. Some of it could be tied into the hip-hop culture. But some of it could be tied to the lack of values that we had years ago as people of the African descent. And so now, instead of exonerating or more or less exemplifying the virtues of our ancestors, we exemplify the virtues of dysfunction, which in essence has created a generation of man-mans. Because once again, man was forced to be a man before his time. Man was expected to hold things down for his mama, because the man she got with wasn't worth anything. The man she gave her body to, she got with him because she loved that thug love and that thug life and that thug passion. She got with him because she wanted a roughneck. She didn't want good men. She wanted a roughneck. Now, there are some circumstances where women had gotten with, they weren't roughnecks. They were just average guys. But by and large, that's not the rule. That's the exception to the rule. And so she got with a roughneck. She got with a thug dizzle. And thug dizzle created man because once again, man was expected to become a man before his time. And in the clinical world, we call that adultification. While man was expected to be the man in the home, man never got a chance to be a child. And so man had to grow up fast. Man had to be on the streets and learning how to hustle and make money. Man had to provide for his mother, even though that was never his job to provide for his mother. Man had to provide for his mother. That's why so many times you see these athletes and they're giving thanks to their moms and they're buying their mama's homes and whatnot. And I'm not against an athlete taking care of his mama, but that should never be a son's responsibility to take care of his mother. If that mother make reckless decisions with her life, if that mother looked past noteworthy men that were good men, but she wanted men that more or less made her feel good, instead of getting with men that were good for her, her children, and her community. And so man was made into the monster that he became. As I said before, some of it is genetic predisposition, some of it is environment, some of it is unresolved trauma, and a part of it, this man made bad choices. But they all shape man. And many times the thing the man dealt with is a byproduct of genetic, a byproduct of his environment and the things that he's been going through. And we continue to struggle and have these circular conversations over and over and over again because no one wants to get to the core of the crux of the issue. The world loves and supports man, but many times equitable, good men that are hard-working, blue-collar, making good choices, they don't respect those type of men because in the black community, as we speak of now, sadly, dysfunction is given greater credence than respectable, honorable men. And so it's normal to get with a man or the father of man, and then after all your virtue is gone, your beauty is gone, and you've been traumatized by man's dad because man's father was irresponsible. His father was irresponsible. And when you see those generations of irresponsibility, then once again, it becomes transgenerational trauma. So man is the spawn of brokenness. Man is the spawn of a reckless father many times. But sometimes man could be the spawn of a baby mama that got upset, got mad, got angry because the man wanted to be in his children's life, but that baby mama didn't allow the father to be in that child's life. Therefore, the child became reckless. The child became rogue. And that's why, guys, children that grow up in single-parent homes without the tutelage and the guidance of their father, boys look for structure and identity. And when they don't have that structure and identity, guess what? They turn to gangs. And I saw it. I saw it many times once again when I worked in law enforcement, when I worked with at-risk youth, they turn to gangs. And many times these children are in special education. Many times, if they're not in special education, they have undiagnosed personality disorders in the form of oppositional defiant disorder, which in essence turns to conduct disorder, which in essence, once they get over 21, it turns to antisocial personality disorders. And many times guys can also turn to narcissistic personality disorder, and also it can turn to borderline personality disorder. And when I look at YouTube, there's a lot of mental illness in YouTube. I see a lot of triggers and symptoms and characteristics of people that are dealing with unresolved pathologies from their childhood, and they're not aware that sometimes those unresolved pathologies of their childhood are carried on into their adulthood, and many times they are struggling with and dealing with a condition called arrested development. There are a lot of people in YouTube that have arrested development. I study them. I study their patterns. I study the things they say. And while some are very resilient, once again, they mask their mental illness. And many times they're not aware of their mental disease. Shout out to Edward Anderson once again for something called mentally transmitted disease or disease. They transmit their mentality to others. They transmit their traumas to others. They project their anger towards their fathers. Now think about this, guys. Father's Day is coming up on Sunday. And I might do a show about Father's Day. And Man-Man was created because Man-Man's mom told her, or told him, that he was the, Man-Man's mother told him that she was the mother and the father, because she was projecting her brokenness to her son. And because Man-Man mama told her son that she was the mother and the father, now Man-Man, anytime he see anything symbolic of masculinity or structure or order, Man-Man don't like it, because Man-Man's used to chaos, and Man-Man don't want anybody to tell him what to do, because Man-Man mama gave him the power to be a man when Man-Man wasn't ready to be a man. And once again, that's called adultification. Adultification can also lead to what's called spousification. So Man-Man is the spawn of brokenness. Man-Man is the spawn of arrested development. Man-Man is the byproduct of a reckless father, but also Man-Man could be the byproduct of a man that wanted to be in the life of his children, but he couldn't be in the life of his children because his mother didn't like him, or his mother didn't want that father, or got mad at that father when that man said he didn't want relationships with her. And after that, the boy doesn't have a father at all. So the son, the child's father, was taken out of his life because the mom was in her feelings, and the mother got upset, and she used her child as a weapon against the father, which in essence have created dysfunction. As I said before earlier, I'm from the class of '90. There were baby mamas. Actually, when we were teenagers growing up in the '90s, teen pregnancy was at an all-time high. Teen pregnancy was high. But while teen pregnancy was high, it was shameful to have children out of wedlock. Hezekiah News gave you guys a good clip of what happened up in New Jersey at one point. It was on Hezekiah News. And some of these women, because they grew up in transgenerational dysfunction, they said they didn't want a father. And so when you have multiple kids by multiple men, your value goes down. And I had a situation, guys, on yesterday, and I'm going to get into that story in a minute, where if this child doesn't get the proper intervention consistently, he's going to replicate what he saw in his family. Because children will either replicate greatness, or children will replicate dysfunction. Now, there are outliers, or there are kids that grow up in good situations, and sometimes they turn out dysfunctional. But however, that's the exception to the rule. That's not the rule. In general, kids that grow up in stable, intact homes, in general, tend to be stable, intact kids. Now, when kids grow up in two-parent homes where the parents are permissive in their parenting, then the children can grow up highly dysfunctional. And that's the problem with a lot of kids now. They're growing up dysfunctional because they don't have intact, they don't have consistent parenting. When you parent a child, you got to have consistent parenting. You got to have consistent mothers and fathers, and you got to have parents to hold children accountable. But when you're in homes where they're not holding kids accountable, where the children know how to triangulate around the other parent, then it becomes a problem. So once again, Man-Man is the byproduct of arrested development. Man-Man was expected to be a man, and Man-Man was expected to be a husband. Because selfish parents, especially some of these women, they created Man-Man, and these reckless men, the 20% that these women love, they create the chaos that so many complain about. The hard-working, equitable black men like the James Turners of the world, like the Top Guns of the world, like myself, and like many others that made good choices, they are expecting them to behold or more or less deal with the dysfunctional man that created the drama that the world complains about. That's why when Kevin Samuels was living, I respected his position, but I never believed that black men should come back to a table and take care of the typical American woman, because they don't add anything of value. How can you expect a man to make good choices? He didn't have kids out of wedlock. He's a hard worker. He made good choices that take care of another man's children, to be the sole provider for that man's children, to be the sole facilitator of that man's children, to potentially be disrespected by that man's children, that man's children. He cannot discipline that man's children. He can't say anything to that woman's children. And many times these women don't want that man to discipline them. But she only wants a man that would take care of her children, which is selfish. So I never agreed that black men should come back to the table, because what are you coming back to if you got high standards? Now, if you got low standards or you don't mind being a cleanup man, then, you know, you can come back to the table. I ain't knocking nobody for coming back to the table. I don't mind being the cleanup man. But I'm talking for myself and the men that I know. If you made good choices your whole life, you should never go backwards. You should go forward and strive to get the best bang for your buck. You should strive to get the best bang for your buck, because a lot of times, guys, they're going to transmit the trauma they went through, and they're going to transmit it to you, and you're going to have to be the recipient of their brokenness. And that's why I don't advise men that make good choices to come in and step up and take care of somebody else's dysfunction. I don't advise that to good men, because you're rewarding bad behavior. You are rewarding bad behavior. A lot of these women that want good men need to be in therapy. They need to get with a good clinical competent therapist that can help them unpack the thinking errors, the automatic thoughts, the scheme of affliction that they have, and help them become better, competent people. But the problem with the modern baby mama culture, many think they are better than the men that they are dealing with. That's why I don't agree with them. There were women that had kids out of wedlock in the past, and they were humble women. They were very humble. They understood that their market value had dropped because they had a child out of wedlock. And many times they didn't have any more kids out of wedlock. They got married. But now you got a generation of women that have multiple kids out of wedlock, bringing dysfunction to those children. And those children have to live through that dysfunction, now are greatly impacted. So now you got a generation of men that are the byproducts of baby mamas, dysfunction, and also reckless men, the 20% that created Man Man. Man Man Jr. was created by Man Man Sr. And Man Man Sr. created a bunch of kids by these ignorant women that continue to give them their womb. You guys going to be surprised about the story I'm about to tell y'all in a minute. And so when you bring kids into chaos, when you bring kids into dysfunction, those children suffer. They suffer from mental distress. They suffer from mental illness. They suffer from brokenness. They suffer from pain. And they suffer from hurt. And many times they don't function as well as other kids. Are there kids that can supersede the odds? Yes. Are there kids that grew up in dysfunction and they end up okay? Yes. But those kids are what's called resiliency theory. Those kids are the exception, but those kids, as I said earlier, they are not the rule. The rule is dysfunction reigns, chaos reigns, brokenness reigns, and disintegrated families reign, because people don't want to do the work. No one want to take accountability for their bad choices. We continue to blame hardworking good men for the choices of the Raekwons, the Day-Days, and the Man Man Seniors, and we project that foolishness to all men through a concept called overgeneralization. And so Man Man was expected to be a father. Man Man was expected to be a husband. Man Man was expected to be a provider. That's why some of these boys doing, if they go to the league or go to the NFL, the NBA, they feel obligated to take care of their mama. Now, there are situations if the father passed away, or the father was abusive and the father had to leave the mom. There are situations where the woman was a decent woman. She was a good woman, but the man was a broken man. But then one could argue, then why did she get with that man? Did she get with a man that she thought was okay and she found out he had unresolved mental illness? Or did she get with a man that had swag, she wanted the swag, she enjoyed the swag, and then once things got out of control, she couldn't handle it? So once again, we got a cycle of dysfunction, we got a cycle of man-mans, and we got a cycle of pathology that's going undiagnosed. And as I said earlier, many children that are the byproduct of single-parent homes are more at risk for criminal activity called recidivism. They're more at risk for low educational outcomes. They have more risk factors because their home environment, the environment is the greatest indicator of a child's success. And also, many times they're placed in special ed. Sometimes they're unjustly placed in special ed, and sometimes they're placed in special ed because they think that these kids have behavior issues. And sometimes these behavior issues are a byproduct of their trauma, but they're not necessarily bad kids. They don't have structure. So they get diagnosed with ODD or other health impairment. And so some of these kids are overdiagnosed, but all of them are not overdiagnosed. Many of them are dysfunctional and sick. Many of them are broken. And so we got a generation of man-mans. We got a world that more or less push dysfunction. We push foolishness. And so instead of pushing the virtues of academic excellence, family, pushing the virtues of hard work and determination, pushing the virtues of never quitting, never letting life circumstance dictate to who you are as a man, we continue to push brokenness. We continue to push dysfunction. And it seemed like it got worse during the 90s after the gangster rap culture. So everything is an interplay, music, culture, unresolved trauma. While some things are trauma, all things are not trauma. Some things is damn bad choices that people like to say trauma. Well, no, everything ain't no trauma. Some of it is you making bad choices because you're lazy and you're unaccountable. Is some of it trauma? Yeah, some of it's trauma. But all of it ain't no trauma. So I get sick of that notion that everything is trauma. Because black people went through trauma years ago, and some of it was undiagnosed. But they didn't make excuses. They fought hard, and they had a strong value system. But now we don't have any value systems anymore. Our families are broken. And because of the brokenness, we have a bunch of man-mans. And let me tell you something, what happens many times these women that have a bunch of kids by different men. They can't handle the pressure, guys. It gets hard when you're trying to take care of a bunch of kids by different men. Shout out to Barrel Hammer. It gets hard when you try to take care of a bunch of kids and you don't have a strong masculine man in that home. And many of these women are having mental health crises or crises because they're trying to take care of man-man. And see, man-man goes through a cycle where he's adored, but then man-man also, guys, get to a point where man-man can't be controlled anymore. And because man-man can't be controlled, many times the mama want to give that child back to the father. But see, by that time it's too late. Because when the father was trying to take man-man when he was a young kid and mold man-man into being a real man instead of being a synthetic man, mama didn't want man-man to go with daddy. Mama wanted man-man to be with her because mama had bitterness because daddy either said, let me have my son and I don't want a relationship, or the father was screwing a bunch of women. The father said, listen, you know what it is, I don't want no kids, this is a one-night stand, we having fun. And she still went on and had that kid, and many times she kept having kids, and now she's playing the role of a victim because she got with men that were worthless. But at the end of the day, the woman is the greatest recipient of what she's going through because she determines who she allows inside her body. Grandmama understood that. Our great-grandmothers, they understood that. But this generation of women now, they don't understand it. And because they don't understand it, they're creating generations of broken children, and they're creating generations of distress. And they're creating them generations of man-mans and Daquans and Ray-Rays and Shermites. And so all this stuff, guys, is wrapped up in what's called psychopathology. All this is wrapped up in a condition called psychopathology. It's all wrapped up in psychopathology, and it's all wrapped up in generational dysfunction. And so let me tell you guys about a story on yesterday. I had a situation with a guy on yesterday, and it was alarming to say the least. And I had a situation with a young man that was respectful that I was working with. Dad was real cool. But you know, people get mad at the manosphere and some of their talking points because they don't understand, they know what we're saying is true. But the fact remains, guys, is this. We said before, not one time, but several times, that women have sex with the same type of men. The men that are creating chaos are the men that are more or less bringing a lot of these bastard kids into the world. And so I was talking to a young man, real cool brother. And I was talking to his son earlier when I was in the session. And you guys will be surprised the level of dysfunction that you see many times from these families and from these situations. So when I was talking to the man told me, and I'm gonna keep his name anonymous because I do respect his privacy. But I'm talking about this, guys, to add clarity to the story of why man was created. And so the guy told me that his son, mama, had 5 kids. She had 5 kids by 5 different men, all young. And so when you bring a child into that kind of chaos, when you bring a child into that kind of environment, the likelihood of that child thriving and being a good child is slim to none. Because now that child got more risk factors against him than protective factors. This child got more detriment, more barriers towards him and his development than positive things. And so now this child, being a black child, growing up in chaos, growing up with the lack of spirituality, because once again, we call it the biopsychosocial spiritual model. We talk about biology. We talk about sociology, which is an environment. We talk about faith, and all of those things, guys, is an interplay. And look at this, guys. Look at what you just saw walking a minute ago. Dysfunction. That's what you see now in the black community, is dysfunction. And it's in America. It's not just the black community, but I'm talking about the black community because I'm a black man. And so when you go to some of these hoods in it, this is in RDU. I'm cruising today. I'm going to Durham at some point. But this is what disintegrated communities look like, guys. Some of the worst ends of growing up in like Chavis Heights, and what I call the hood. This is Shaw University, but Shaw is in the hood, and Shaw is a solid school, but Shaw University is in the hood, and so this is on the rougher side of RDU. And man was raised in these kind of environments. It's a bad thing, guys, when a boy got a damn thing he got to be a basketball player in order to be great. It's a bad thing when a child thinks he got to be a football player in order to be great. It's a bad thing when a child thinks he got to be a rapper in order to damn be great. And I get so sick of these worthless baby mamas that damn keep having these kids out of wedlock, and these ain't-ish baby daddies that play a role in the damn dysfunction. And they blame hard-working good black women, and they blame hard-working good black men for the ills of black society. I get sick of it. It's repulsive. And so the man told me that this woman had 5 kids by 5 different men. Now, who's raising this child, or who's raising these children when the mama got 5 kids, guys, by damn 5 different men? So that can lead to what's called conduct disorder and oppositional defiant disorder, because that's severe abuse and that's severe neglect. That's abuse and neglect when a child is having to deal with that. Because now, guess what? Who's raising man? The streets is raising man. TV is raising man. Gangs are raising damn man. Instead of the mother raising man, gangs are raising man. The streets are raising man. And the hood is raising man. And that becomes a problem, guys, over and over again, because nobody want to get to the heart of this discussion. This is what the hood look like in certain parts of RDU, guys. While there's nice houses, this is what the hood looks like, especially if you go to Southeast Raleigh. And so when you think about the distress, many times the trauma, guys, always damn starts on Martin Luther King Avenue or Martin Luther King Boulevard. Most of the trauma starts on Martin Luther King Boulevard. And sadly, Martin Luther King Boulevard in the past was a place of greatness. It was symbolic of black excellence. But now Martin Luther King Boulevard is synonymous of brokenness, distress, and dysfunction. And many times, Martin Luther King Boulevard is the nexus point of man-man, where man-man had to survive, had to protect himself, and man-man had to become a man before his time. Man-man had to become a husband. Man-man had to become a father. Man-man had to become all things except being a child. And because of all of that, you have a cycle of broken and dysfunction. That's why when these boys go up to the league, because their mama needs somebody to help take care of her in her old age, to buy her a house and to take care of her. And once again, if the mom was a good mother, she made good choices, and her husband died, or she was a good woman and she got with a bad man and she was a good woman. I'm not talking about women like that. I'm talking about women that are reckless. I'm talking about women that continue to make bad choices and have babies with ain't-ish men, and then they'll sit on their ass and complain about it when they're old or when the value is gone. And now all of a sudden, after they gave their best years away to ain't-ish men, now they want a good man. And let me tell you something, guys, don't you settle for it. Don't you settle for a woman that made bad choices through her life, marrying or getting with ain't-ish men, having multiple kids. Because let me tell you something, guys, some of this stuff is damn immoral. Some of it ain't got nothing to do with it. Some of it is rebellion and immoral. Some of it is trauma, but some of it's not trauma. Some of it is immoral. Chambers is actually beautiful now. And Moulton came from. He grew up in Chambers Heights. Chambers Heights is like the hood, but this is the nice parts of Chambers Heights. Lavelle Moulton grew up in Chambers Heights, and also they took Chambers Heights, guys, which was the hood, and they damn rebuilt Chambers Heights and gentrified some of it. But Man damn grew up in places like Chambers Heights, even though this is upscale compared to many places. But Man grew up in Chambers Heights. This is what Man damn grew up in. He grew up in Chambers Heights. Used to be a project, but there's no longer a project now, guys. It's affordable housing for all people. But Man grew up in these kinds of environments where he had to be a great man, and where he had to be a mother or had to be a father. Man had to be a husband. And that's why you got so many boys now that are son husbands, because they are the personification, guys, of Man. They're the personification of Man. A husband, a father, and also an adult. And what it does, it has arrested his development to the point that Man over-identifies with women. Man is highly emotional. Man got undiagnosed mental illness. Man might got opposition defiant disorder, and many times Man is incarcerated. So this child is on the road to being in the system if he don't have the proper intervention. And thank God his father is trying to be in his life, but the story gets deep. His mother, once again, is a recipient of brokenness herself. His mother is a recipient of trauma. His mother is a recipient of dysfunction herself, because mama got 6 kids and 5 kids, just had kids. And you know, guys, that does something to a child's psyche. That does something to a damn child's psyche. Guys, once again, I'm in Chambers Heights. This is the hood. But that does something to a child's psyche when a child see different men coming in and out of his mother's home. That can mess up a child's psyche when multiple men are coming in and out of the home, and it gives his the son a negative view of women. That's why a lot of times when the rap game came out, and men started making like bees ain't nothing but hoes and tricks. That was a byproduct of seeing dysfunction from their mama. And so the rap culture, in a way, projected what they saw in the community. And now, guys, over and over again, children that had to grow up before their time, children that were caught up in the system, children that had to gang bang because they grew up in brokenness, they had to become Man. So there were a lot of things and a lot of situations that created man, and that created community disintegration, that created community brokenness, that community distress. And now, guys, with the world changing and with gentrification, um, a lot of kids are being damn pushed further and further and further and further behind the damn 8 ball. A lot of kids are being pushed further and further and further behind the 8 ball because we celebrate dysfunction instead of celebrating normalcy. And, you know, it gets bad when, you know, black folks gotta damn always rely on, you know, some of the good white people to save us from our damn dysfunction instead of taking ownership and self-reflection and making the proper choices. Once again, this is the hood, but this is the gentrified hood. This is Chavis Heights. This was a well-known project near southeast Raleigh. And you got McDougal Terrace up in Durham. But now, guys, you can see how gentrification is taking the hood over and changing the schematics of the hood. And so, but it gets deeper, guys, than man and his mama having all these kids out of wedlock. Man, daddy told me, guys, and it goes back to what some of the brothers in the manosphere said. And y'all ain't gonna believe this. I need y'all to get ready when y'all want to find out how many kids man daddy had. Because man dad is part of the problem too. But at least the brother acknowledges his issues. But I'm gonna drop some fire for y'all mind in a minute, guys. But give me 1 minute. I'm gonna go park somewhere, and I'm gonna drop some fire for y'all mind. But the young man mama had 5 kids by 4 or 5 different men. She had to work 2 jobs to take care of her kids. The child was left to his own devices. We can't see all we see is the mirror. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get somewhere and get parked, man. I'm driving. I don't have a All right, let me show you guys again. So once again, this is Chavis Heights. This is Chavis Heights. If y'all can see it, let me know. This is Chavis Heights. This is what I call ghetto regentrification. As you guys can see over here, that's regentrification. I call that ghetto regentrification. This used to be the hood, but it's been gentrified. And so that adds to the conversation, guys, gentrification and children being pushed. Actually right here, this school is a hood. This school right here is a nice school, but it's right across from the hood. So you got magnet schools. They have allowed and afforded kids to get better education. They're called magnet schools. And they put these magnet schools right in the center of the hood, which is a good thing because it allows kids to get the better access and get better resources. But once again, I got to get a hanger, guys, for my car. But once again, Chavis Heights at one time was the hood. This place was the hood at one point, but it's been gentrified. And this is where man grew up. Man grew up in Chavis Heights. If you look over here, guys, this is Martin Luther King Street. Over here is the hood too. Hold on. I'm trying to hold my phone while I'm driving, so y'all have to forgive me. I'm gonna get somewhere and park. No, you're right. Disney is also raising man. I agree, Byron Hammond. Disney is raising man too. I totally agree. But there are a lot of factors out there created man. A lot of factors sadly created man. Hold on. Let me get somewhere and park. Actually, let me try to do this. So, I was talking to the father of the young man. Their mother had 5 kids by 5 different men. And y'all are not going to believe this. Y'all are not going to. The father said, y'all hit one if you can hear what I'm saying. Somebody hit one if y'all can hear what I'm saying. I'm going to get somewhere and park in a minute. But the father said, guys, that he had 9 kids, guys, by 9 different women. Now, Bloodworth, hold tight, I'm gonna get back. Bloodworth, guys, is where a lot of gangs used to bang out. A lot of gang bangers used to hang out on Bloodworth Street. But the father, guys, said he had 9 kids by 9 different women. The brother was honest. I respect the young man. He was a young father. But he had 9 kids by 9 different women. And we wonder why these children are so damn dysfunctional. Generational trauma, generational brokenness, generational dysfunction, sociological factors, environment, media, all that has shaped kids into becoming man. And you're right, Byron Hammer, Disney is raising and making man. Not only is it raising man, but Disney is also making man. And Disney is creating a lot of the chaos that we complain about. When you got movies like The Acolyte that push liberal agendas and push liberal talking points. So this young man is man because of his conditioning, his upbringing, and also his negative socialization. And now mans are becoming the norm instead of scholars, hard-working blue-collar brothers, decent black women that are trying to do the right thing. Hold tight. Sadly, they're becoming the norm. And so this is the juxtaposition of how man was created. It's a juxtaposition of how man was created, and man continues the pathology that we complain about and the things that we talk about. Because we live in a society, in a world that celebrates brokenness. We celebrate victimization instead of celebrating resiliency and making good choices. We know that structural racism exists, but everything ain't racism. Sometimes it's just bad choices. Everything ain't trauma. Sometimes you just made bad choices. Look at this, guys. This is some of the hood part of downtown. Dilapidated houses. So you got the hood mixed in with the city. This is a historically black college, and look at this idiot. What the hell are you doing? This is a historically black college in Shaw University. But they always put the black schools in the hood for some reason. I'm gonna go ahead and park because I can't drive and hold this phone. I gotta get a hanger for my phone. But anyway, brokenness reigns supreme, guys, in the inner city. Dysfunction reigns supreme in the inner city. And it goes on and on and on and on again. When a person can have 9 kids by 9 different women, it tells us, and the women knew that the man had 9 kids. Now listen, it ain't that the brother lied. The brother told the woman, listen, I got 9 baby mamas. But the brother was charismatic, he was charming, very articulate. And the women, that's what they wanted. But there'll be the damn main ones complaining about racism and the white man, and there ain't no good black men. But they were worthless men that created the chaos that they complain about, which in essence created man. And man goes on to create more people just like himself, because once again, guys, we celebrate brokenness instead of celebrating black excellence. And there was a time where there was black excellence, but we don't have it like we used 2 years ago. And that's why our communities are broken. That's why our children are messed up. That's why there's so much trauma over and over and over and over again, because we don't celebrate black excellence anymore. We don't celebrate it. We don't care about it. We don't care about it until somebody's the victim of police brutality. Then we want to damn complain and moan and talk about nonsense. Yeah, Byron Hammer, he had 9 kids by 9 different women. I said, damn, I got to do a show on this. I have been meaning to do a show about man for a while. But he had 9 kids by 9 different women. 9 kids by 9 different women, which proves our point that many women like dysfunctional men. They like the men that got the magic stick. They like the men that got swag and the men that are confident and the men that look good. They like the men that are dysfunctional just like them. And they like the men that make them feel good instead of making them be good. And they like the men that continue to talk about the things that are not good for black families and black communities. That's why I said over and over again, guys, what we knew as the black community is done. It's over with. Yeah, that's buck seating various women. Yeah, it's definitely buck seating. And guess what? They love that buck seating. And some of that, I'm glad you said that, Biohammer, some of that is the byproduct of transgenerational trauma. Some men were expected to be bucks, to keep impregnating multiple women. Sometimes that's part of it. But there's a myriad of things that cause it. Some of it is trauma. Some of it is genetic predisposition. Some of it is environment. But many times, some of it is just choice. Some people are born in turbulent situations. They know trauma impacted them, but they have a higher level of moral reason. They just don't adhere to it. But then there are some people that adhere to that base level. They don't think, they're reckless, and they love having a victim mindset. So does trauma exist? Yes. But everything ain't trauma. Even if you're built in trauma, you still know basic right from wrong. Even though trauma can impact how you function, trauma can impact brain or neural development. The argument would be, do you have enough cognizance, even though you were traumatized, to know basic right from wrong? I would argue, yeah. Even though it's complex, I would argue, yeah. So once again, this man had 9 kids by 9 different women. 9 kids by 9 different women, guys. Not 1, but 9. 9 kids by 9 different women. And it proves that many times women love that thug love. They love that passion fruit. They love dysfunctional men, only to complain about those dysfunctional men when their better years are gone. Only to complain about dysfunctional men when their value is gone. Only to complain about dysfunctional men where good men no longer want them. Only to complain about dysfunctional men where they don't have the same choices that they had in the past. James Turner said that the daughters are also taught to give homage to their mothers as both mom and dad, not realizing that being a father is the first fruit, a spiritual position first. Yes. And James, shout out to you, man. Somebody asked about you, James, man. I'm going to have to call you, man, after this live stream, man. Somebody asked about you, man. They got a mark on you, James. They got a mark on your neck. I call you the Incredible Crunch. You ain't the Incredible Hulk, you the Incredible Crunch, James Turner. Because you're incredibly smart when it comes down to math and numbers. But you could turn to Incredible Hulk too. So I'm calling James Turner the Incredible Crunch. But somebody asked about you, James Turner. I'm gonna check with you on the back end, bro. And so once again, Father's Day is about to come upon us. Father's Day is about to be here at some point. And when Father's Day encroaches, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to minimize the importance of dads and fathers. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to minimize the importance of dads and fathers. Because dysfunction is the new norm of the day instead of black excellence. Dysfunction is the new normal of the day instead of black excellence. When you got the kind of dysfunction that we got here in Black America, guys, I see why we got so many simps. Because simps often pander against men. We call them spam. Simps often pander against masculine men. We call them spam. They pander. Look. Let me show you guys something. Y'all look at Raekwon, guys. Hold on. Y'all be thinking coach should be playing. Look at Raekwon. Look at this, guys. Hold on. Look at Raekwon. That's Raekwon right there. Look at Raekwon. Look at Raekwon. That's Raekwon. And I promise you, Raekwon, it's a spawn of a baby mama. Look at him. Y'all see him? He better not bring his ass over here. We're going to get active. But look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at him. Broken. Y'all be thinking I'm playing when I be doing these shows. Look at Raekwon. And I feel sorry for the kid to some degree because I know he came from damn dysfunction and brokenness. Y'all be thinking I'm playing. This is perfect. I had to come downtown and let y'all see it for yourselves. Hold on. Raekwon is the spawn of brokenness. You see it for yourself, guys. I ain't talking about you, brother. I'm talking about somebody else. But you guys see it. Raekwon's the damn spawn of dysfunction, and he's the spawn of damn brokenness. And once again, guys, y'all damn see it over and damn over again. You see it over and over again. You see it all the damn time. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Maybe he was making a drug transaction. I don't know. But you guys just saw it. Y'all just saw Man. That's Man. And Man gonna produce some more dysfunction and brokenness. That's Man. Broken, dysfunctional, probably got unresolved mental illness, unemployed, lack of identity, don't know his father, don't know his family, don't know his progeny, because we keep damn bringing babies into this damn world over and over again into brokenness instead of bringing children to this world where they got good parents and good fathers and good situations. And we know, guys, over and over again that having a two-parent home does not guarantee that the child won't be deviant. We understand that. Having a two-parent home does not guarantee that the child won't be deviant. The guy that was standing over there, he probably was a damn man. Because he was looking at me. Look, he was making some kind of transaction. So, you know, I got to be careful, guys, out here downtown, because, you know, I ain't got my heat on me. I didn't bring my heat. But that's brokenness, guys. That's its function. And that's the norm now. Dysfunction is glorified instead of tradition and black excellence. They're called men like me are educated lame. They're called men like James Turner are educated lame. They're called men like Top Gun are lame. They're called the hardworking, decent brothers lames. Because we don't value what our ancestors valued again. And that's why we got so many generations of Man. Remember, Man was created. Man really, if he had the right discipline, the right guidance, would be a different person. But see, what we don't understand, what many don't understand, in therapy, we talk about something called nature versus nurture. Nature is the genetic predisposition, but nurture is the environment. So Man is a byproduct of his environment, but also Man is a byproduct of his genetics, and also Man is a byproduct of the lack of moral reasoning. So you guys just saw a minute ago, Man walking up the streets, pants sagging, empty, don't have no identity, probably a son husband, because a lot of these son husbands are man. That's why the mom call him Man, because Man is a son husband. I'm gonna do a show called Rise of the Son Husbands at some point. But Man is a son husband. But anyway, I'm not gonna be before you guys long. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to James Turner once again for that $5, $10 super chat. As James Turner was the #1 sponsor of the stream. But also, I know what I'm going to share with y'all. Hold tight. So, I don't want to end this stream before I share this with you guys. So, we talked about kids being born in single-parent homes and not having fathers. We talked about how messed up that is. And I'm going to share something with you guys. When children are born in single-parent homes without having fathers and intact situations, once again, the mothers struggle because they can't handle the pressure of trying to be a mother and also being a caretaker. And shout out to El Guapo from Beautiful Lives. I saw a clip on his show about a woman that turned into her kids. She turned her kids into CBS. She turned her kids to CPS because she couldn't take care of her kids. Shout out to Beryl Hammer for the 5. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. As you and James Turner, the #1 sponsor. Let me show you guys something. Thank you, Byron Hammer TV, brother. I appreciate it. Let me show you guys something. This woman on TikTok, she turned in her kids. She turned in her kids, guys, because she couldn't take care of them. She got tired of them. And she turned the kids in to CPS. Hold on. But that's trauma, guys. That is trauma, and that kind of trauma can create Man. That kind of brokenness can create Man. Hold on.
This way. And Leia wants to turn right at that stop sign because they're.
The woman had 5 kids. I happened to see it on Guapo's channel, it popped on his channel. And let me show you guys this. This goes back to what we were saying about risk factors. If you guys can see me, risk factors and protective factors. This goes back to risk factors and protective factors. Baby mama with 5 kids, turned them into CPS. Hold on for a minute. This baby mama had 5 kids, guys, and she turned them into CPS. Hold on. Baby mama with 5 kids turned them into CPS. And she turned them in, guys, because she couldn't handle being a mom. Let me see if I can find it. What the hell do I keep saying? Anyway, so as I said earlier, guys, that's what happens when you don't have intact homes, when you don't have fathers in the home, when you don't have strong communities. These women start struggling because they can't handle the pressure of being a provider and also trying to be a mother because it was never designed. And it continues to breed dysfunction. Children that grew up in single-parent homes come from dysfunctional homes, many of them. Some overcome their dysfunction, but many become victims of their dysfunction. Hold on for a minute.
In just 3 minutes with the Bobby.
I was trying to find it on TikTok, but I saw Guapo pop up on my stream, and I said this would be a perfect segue before I end this show. So hold tight. But anyway, shout out to Guapo from Beautiful Lives. Shout out to him. I'm gonna play this clip real quick if I can find it. So Guapo titled "The Worst Thing I've Ever Seen," and she's happy about it. So basically, this woman said, "F them kids." Shout out to Guapo from Beautiful Lives. This woman said, "F those kids." Go subscribe to this channel, guys.
Okay, y'all, here we go.
This woman said, "F those kids," guys. She said, "F those kids," because she could not take care of her kids. Now remember, man is a byproduct of neglect and abuse. Neglected and abused kids, many times, if they're not careful, they can develop what's called personality disorders. And man probably got oppositional defiant disorder. But this woman said, F those kids, because she could no longer take care of them. And remember, this heifer opened her legs up and produced 5 bastard spawns. But now she want to turn her children into CPS because she can't take care of them with her reckless, immature ass. But we wonder why some of these damn kids are so messed up and jacked up and broken. Now watch this. Listen to this. And this proves how man was created. Listen.
Girl, yes, them kids was bad as any like kids. I'm crying too because they came and got them, mother. It's the happiest day. Awesome, man! Them kids!
Now this woman is talking about her kids.
African.
She's talking about her kids.
Asian.
And we wonder why.
I don't even want my, like.
We wonder why. We wonder why, guys. Many people don't respect black culture. This woman got 5 kids. She can't take care of them. Now she's saying F those kids. And she won't want you guys to be a simp to come and take care of her and her bastard kids. And she turned them into CPS because this woman is dysfunctional and she's highly toxic. Hold on.
But man, I'm gonna encourage my son. I'm gonna be like, bro, don't mess around here, yo. You better go deal with that 96%. Don't even mess around here, bro. Don't do it. Watch this.
I made this decision. My family Keep them. We'll figure it out. I don't have time to figure it out. I have shit going on now. I'm coming back for them. I'm coming back for my kids, and I am going to get my kids.
There's an epilogue to Mr. Moral Lex. Watch this.
A child. Anything that I do with my life, my career, my business, whatever rapper that you see me with, whatever rapper flies me, that has nothing to do with you.
Now you're getting flued out by the rapper.
Listen to this dusty woman, guys. Listen to this dusty heifer. This dusty, ignorant heifer is more damn concerned about damn being flued out than taking care of her kids. And so once again, man is created by reckless women that get with reckless men, many times, not always. Man's created by women that get with reckless men, or women that get with decent men that wanted to be in their children's life, but because the relationship ended, she can want to control the situation. Now that child is bitter. And also man is created by women that have a hatred towards their baby's father, which in essence teaches their children to hate structure, order, and masculine men, and also to hate their father without hearing the story. And these are going to be the same women on Father's Day saying, I'm your father and your mother. Shout out to Top Gun for that $5 super chat. Shout out to Top Gun. So once again, who created man? Well, his mammy created him. And I just saw, guys, the guy a minute ago, the same guy that I called man walk up the street. I should have put the camera on. He was walking up the street a minute ago. Let me go to this parking lot real quick. I'm going to go to this McDonald's parking lot. But he was in McDonald's parking lot with his pants sagging down because man is a byproduct of dysfunction. Hold on.
Oh my God. Stop lying. My boyfriend has nothing to do with you. It don't matter. None of that matters. You should worry about you and what you have to do for your kids. And actually, to be honest, you're literally that stuck on a rapper. We're just, he's not even my boyfriend. So imagine.
Jeez Louise, bro. Jeez, you need to stop.
And you hear what she just said? She just said, we just effing, he's not even my boyfriend. Now, once again, these will be the same women that want you men to come back once you make good choices to marry them and to take care of their bastard children. We're not even effing. We're not even boyfriends. We just effing. And this is the normal dysfunction that you see, guys, not only in America, but you see this dysfunction with black kids. That's why the young man I just showed you guys a minute ago, man was created. Man was created by life. Man was created by circumstances. And man many times was created by his mama. Man was created by his mama. Hold on.
He's not even my boyfriend. So imagine when he do become my boyfriend, you're gonna be sick. He's not my boyfriend. So now you just look dumb and bitter and worried about the wrong shit. I'm not.
You really think he's going to become your boyfriend?
Are you retarded?
All right, y'all, listen.
Hold on.
Zyrtec allergy relief works fast and lasts a full 24 hours, so you can seize the day.
Feels like a dream, feels like magic. Girl, I believe I can have.
Y'all, listen. This next one is rough. Let me tell you how bad it is.
And guys, once again, dysfunction is normal in the black community.
This clip is so bad. It's originally 6 minutes. I couldn't even put the whole thing on there. When I sent it to the Vietnamese sensation to do some light editing, I had to have him blur out some stuff because Shorty is chiefing in the video. So not only did we have to blur out a portion of this, but we actually had to, the amount of cussing in it was too much. All right, everybody, woosah, breathe in the nose, out the mouth, Miyagi style. Let's get it.
Out of here. But yes, like I said, they came and got them. Shay.
We're going to park over here, guys. Hold on for a minute.
They'll be gone. Them is gone. Or 7 of them. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party, hey. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party, hey. Okay, y'all, for real, I'm gonna get the green. They took my kids. Girl, yes, them kids was bad as anyway, kids.
She's saying F them kids, yo.
Think about that, guys. The woman is supposed to be nurturing their kids and teaching them how to be good. Because she's so dysfunctional, she's a harlot. She's dysfunctional, she's destructive. This stupid slur is saying F them kids. But this is what we have to deal with, guys, as professionals. We have to deal with this kind of nonsense. A woman that made bad choices, laid on her back, and got a bunch of kids by a bunch of different men, don't want to take accountability for anything. She didn't have one, but she had probably 5 kids, probably by damn 5 different men. And now this stupid slow is saying, F them kids. And I get mad and angry because the young man that you guys saw a minute ago was made by his mama. His mama and Man Man Sr. made Man Man Jr. Man Man Jr. was made by his mama and damn Man Man Sr. And once again, guys, it's become so commonplace in black families and black communities now. It's the norm. It's the norm. It's normal, guys, to be dysfunctional. I'm gonna park in this McDonald's parking lot because I don't want to get no ticket. But it's normal, guys, to be dysfunctional here in America. It's normal. It's normal to be dysfunctional. Hold on.
And F them kids, yo.
She said F them kids.
She's saying F them kids. They came and got them. She's drinking. She's smoking. It's a party. It's a party. It's a party. Hey.
Veronica, for real. Them kids, girl. Them kids. I keep letting my wow. What's up, cuz? They came and got them kids. What's up, cuz? Delilah. What's up, Key? Cuz? Dog. Francois. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But can crying too, because they came and got them mother. It's the happiest day.
They came and got her kids, and it's the happiest day, yo.
Now, guys, it goes back to what we said before in the past. Some of these men that got hatred for women is because their mammies won't ish. Their mammies was dysfunctional. Their mammies were broken. And the mothers taught the sons to hate their fathers. That's why they hate traditional masculine men that are structured and try to bring order. So you got man that hate his mama because his mama was a slut, but also man don't respect his father because man now is his own man. And anytime you try to bring structure and balance, that's why once again, when I was in training school, when I used to work with kids in training school, they didn't like structure. They didn't know what no structure was. Man took care of himself. So you think a grown man gonna damn come in and try to tell man what to do and what not to do? No, man is his own man. And many times man will fight grown men because man is dysfunctional as Hell, and man don't damn know structure and order, because if man was in a tribe of elders and a tribe of masculine men, man will get his ass beat. And man will be told to sit his ass down or get his jaw broke for disrespecting grown ass men. Because see, man is a predator. Man won't flex on a man as strong as him, as tough as him. But man will flex on somebody that's weaker than him. Man won't jump as equal or greater. But man will jump men that he think he can beat because they have a predator mindset. And many times these boys develop antisocial personalities, or they're in and out of prison. They have a bunch of kids by different women. They become man seniors themselves. They transmit transgenerational trauma to their children. They have a hatred for masculine authority and masculine structure. They hate anything that makes them held accountable. They're overly emotional. They think just like their mamas. And many times they have a hatred for women because man mama was a 304. She was a 304. That's why man don't like his mama, because his mama was a 304. Hold on. 1 minute.
If you ever have needed motivation to get your passport and get the heck away, I would be terrified. And I'm not a punk, man. I'm not a punk. I am terrified of intercourse with an American woman. It's not just black women, it's all of them now.
It's all of them. Shout out to Guapo. He's right. Listen, I told somebody, guys, and I've told my wife, and my wife is a good woman compared to these slores in America. When people tell me, say, well, you need to talk about marriage and how to be a good man, what the hell am I going to talk about? Me and my wife got married years ago, and she ain't a perfect woman, but she's better than a lot of these women now. We got married almost 28 years ago, when women were better because they were Gen X. They weren't perfect in Gen X, but they were a better product. But now you got damn women having multiple kids by multiple women. This woman saying F her kids. And like Guapo said, he's correct. It's not per se a black woman problem solely. It's an American woman problem. So do you think I'm going to put my seed in the typical American woman, white or black, but because I'm a black man that like black women, you think I'm going to put my seed in the typical American woman and the typical American 304? I would be a fool, and you guys will be a fool. And I'm going to do another show today talking about the dysfunction that we see. But you will be a fool to put your phallus in the typical American woman because it's toxic and it's damn full of dysfunction. They don't add any value to your life. They don't add any value to the children's lives. They don't nurture those kids because they're dysfunctional, entitled, and selfish, and nobody hold their asses accountable. And then once they get older and they want to settle down, they want you to come and put a ring on their finger as they gave that used body to multiple men, multiple babies to come through them. They got all that pus in their mind, all that pus in their brain. And then they want you to come and I'm talking about taking care of them and being a husband and taking care of some damn community. But they don't respect men, and they got underlying mental illness themselves. They haven't been properly treated or damn diagnosed. So Guapo is right. I agree with him 100%. I've said the same thing. Leave American women alone because they don't make good wives.
Not knowing which of the snakes is toxic or venomous. It's not knowing. Let's go.
If you're sitting around Googling how to make money on the internet and your ass is tired of being broke, let me tell you what your parents.
They came and got them mother. They came and got them. Do you hear me? You hear me, Willie?
Hold on. This 304 is celebrating her kids got taken.
Anything, but they came and got them though.
What else is thing doing?
But I don't know. They came and got them. Happiest day of my life.
Damn, bro. The happiest day of her life.
The happiest day in her life that her children got taken.
This joint is wild, man. This is wild, man. Let's go.
I'm in the house.
I'm talking about, I should have took a picture of them. They was leaving out the door. I should have recorded. I should have recorded. Yes, Marie, they really think so. So, actually, no, listen though. Oh boy, awesome man.
So guys, that's just a little clip.
Jab on this one. Y'all be like,
That's just a little clip of guys of what we call dysfunction in modern America. That's a dysfunction that we struggle with and see here, guys, in modern America. And we wonder why these children are so messed up. But anyway, I'm about to end this stream. I got to go. I got some things to do and people to see and places to go. Shout out to James Turner for being the #1 sponsor with the $10 super chat. Shout out to Top Gun and shout out to Byron Hammer. I appreciate it, guys. But I wanted the guys to give you a snapshot by touring this city. They got Madugal Terrace in Durham. That's even different. Madugal Terrace is even worse. But, you know, if you go to Madugal Terrace, you try to have a gun because you can end up losing your life. And I ain't damn trying to get out of no shootout by going to the hood in Durham. You know, I tend to hang out in Durham a lot. You know, I went to North Carolina Central. So that's more or less my domicile. But every now and then I come to the Art Raleigh and tour Raleigh sometime. And every now and then I'm in Chapel Hill too. So I'll be all over the place. But I've been in Durham a lot. And Durham is being gentrified and Durham is being changed. And that's why I tell brothers like Top Gun. Top Gun, I'm right now, I'm talking to a person behind the scene. I'm trying to get Top Gun to explore different parts of the world so he can find a traditional woman that's going to respect him and honor him. Good brother. I'm trying to tell James Turner he's already doing it. And to the other single men that have not traveled, you would be a damn fool to waste your time and your money dealing with modern American women. It ain't a white or black thing. They're just messed up, a lot of them. There is a remnant that's left. There's a remnant that's good. But I see it every day in clinical practice. I just told you guys, a young man, mom had 5 kids by 5 different men. His daddy had 9 baby mamas. And he's a good brother. I enjoyed talking to him, smart. But we both laughed at it. They love that damn swag. They love that swag. They love that swag effect, that hardwood. They love it. They love it till they don't love it. And then once their lives are messed up, they want a sucker to come and talk about damn taking care of their kids, which in actuality, they just damn use. Don't you ever settle for no damn BS like that. Top Gun said, Guapo said something that's very important. He said he would never lay down and give his seat to an American woman. Yes, these American women ain't ish, but as men, we need to start practicing stick discipline. Yeah, I agree, Top Gun. You're 100% correct. Yeah, man, I agree. We need to damn start practicing penis discipline, man. You're 100% correct. When you get older like me, it's easy to do. But for the younger man, it's hard. But I agree. We need to start damn practicing stick discipline, man. So I just want to give you guys a snapshot of what happens in the inner city and how man was created. Who created man was simple. Society created man. The inner city created man. His mama created man. His ain't-ish daddy created man. And then at the end of the day, man created man because man knew basic right from wrong. They all interplay. Some people don't act on the pathology, some do. So anyway, I'm going to end this stream, guys. I'll see y'all later. And I need you to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized, and not dealing with modern women in America is not only paramount to your mental health, but also it's paramount to your future and your legacy and also the children that you bring in this chaotic world. If you can find a good woman that respects and honors you as a man, then by all means go find her. But by and large, when it comes down to a lot of modern women, there's some good women out here. They're remnants, but they're hard to find. Your chances of finding a good, equitable mother or a good equitable woman it's hard. It's a lot of work and you got to go through a lot of BS to get to it. So anyway, y'all take care. I'm tapping off. I'll see y'all again a little later on. Take care. Be good.